Okay, so I'm doing this video today for school leavers, for people who, like me 20 years ago, don't have a clue what they want to do with their life. The education system has basically put huge pressure on them to take exams, to study, to pass your exams, to go to university. You've probably been told if you don't go to university then you won't achieve anything. Going to university, unless you manage to go and do something that you feel really passionate about, or that you go and do something that's likely to lead to a good job, you're likely to get yourself into thousands of pounds worth of debt that will take you a long time to pay back. And if it doesn't take you a long time to pay back, then that's good, but it's going to be a pain in the bum having to pay it back anyway. Don't believe them when they tell you that student loan is the best debt you can have. I was told that at the time. I maxed out my student loan at the time, and it was just an absolute pain. It isn't the best debt you can have at all. They do charge interest on it, and it does come back to bite you later on. What I'm here to do today is to try and encourage you that if you haven't done particularly well in school, maybe you're not particularly mature yet, which is absolutely fine. People mature at different rates. You don't maybe have much interest in study at the minute. You haven't found something that interests you. Maybe you've got learning problems, possibly. Whatever, there can be lots of things going on, family issues at home, lots of things. Kids are under a hell of a lot of pressure nowadays, suffer from a lot of stress. Don't panic, you are still really young, although time does go really quickly. When you get to my age, approaching 40, which still isn't that old, but when you get to my age you realise that the years do go by really quickly, but you do have a good amount of time to help yourself get into good habits and to have a bright future. So please don't panic about what's going on. My advice is, if you need to get a job and it's not something you particularly like and doesn't pay particularly well, fair enough, just get the job, make the best of it you possibly can, use it to improve yourself, use it to practice good habits like getting up on time, getting to work on time, being a good colleague, being a good team player. You might find it mind numbing at first doing something you don't want to do, but just get into good habits, make the most of it. Keep your eye on what you want to do down the line. Don't panic about it, don't rush. Just get into good habits, read. Do as much reading as possible. That's one thing that I've started to do only really in recent years. I read a bit in school, but I always found excuses not to read. But the past few years I've been reading loads, I've been listening to books on Audible, and the information out there that is so useful when it comes to self-development, self-improvement, and it really does make a difference. When I first started listening to this sort of stuff, I thought, oh yeah, what a load of rubbish, there's another cheesy person giving advice. If you get into good habits every day, starting with something as simple as making your bed when you get up in the morning, drinking a pint of water, doing a few press-ups, whatever it is, reading your books, listening to Audible when you're in the car or whatever, get into those habits, make them regular, write stuff down as well, maybe keep a journal, keep your phone. Everyone has their phone on them nowadays, so if something happens in the day, if you have an idea come to you, something creative, note it down on your phone. Then later at the end of the day, get your journal out and write it down. Like the actual action I have found of writing stuff down really helps get it out of your head and kind of gives you clarity. I found that since I've been writing stuff down, things stick in my mind so much more clearly, and then I start linking it to something else and it grows, and then it becomes something that I can actually use in a useful way. So read as much as possible, write stuff down. There are so many good books out there that I recommend to you to read. If you can see this one, it's a bit bright. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Steven Covey. It's quite an old-fashioned one, this one, but I read it recently. I put it off because it's a bit of an older one, but it's really, really good advice in this book. Not any book, but there are a lot of good books on habits, forming good habits, that are really, really useful. I found that getting into the habit of forming good habits is a really useful thing to do, and it really makes a positive difference. So definitely try and give that one a read. There's other stuff as well. There's a guy called Robert Greene, who is a fantastic author as well. The Laws of Human Nature, this is fantastic. It's a long one, this one, it's about 600 pages. If you don't have time to read, like I say, plug into Audible, listen to it when you're maybe in the car or on the train or whatever. Listen to it when you're doing things that, you might otherwise be wasting a bit of time. Perhaps when you're sat down in the evening, relaxing, there's rubbish on TV you're not particularly bothered about, just plug in and listen to a book. Just get positive, good information that from people who have been there and done it before, who have found success. Listen to them, listen to their ideas, and try and make it relevant to you and your life and your goal. And that's another thing as well. Try and set goals for yourself. Try to set small goals throughout the week. Small things that you want to get done, maybe things that weigh on your mind a little bit, that are irritating you, whether that be, I don't know, to tidy up your space, your living space, to throw some clothes out that you don't need anymore, to get something done, repaired on your car that you've been putting off because you don't want to do it because it's a pain in the bum or it costs a bit of money. Whatever it is, get those things ticked off. Have then goals for the month, maybe fitness goals, health goals, things like that. And then try and have goals for the year, 3 years, 5 years. Have a long-term vision of what it is you want to achieve, whether that might be you want to increase your net worth, you want to save a load of money, you want some kind of job or career, whatever it is. But be, like Gary Vaynerchuk says, this guy, check him out on YouTube, he's really good. He gives a lot of really frank, no bullshit advice. He just says, be patient, work at stuff, put the time in, treat life as if you're not going to be here forever, go for the things that you want to go for, put the time in, put the work in, but be patient, is what he says. And that's true. You can't expect stuff to happen overnight. If you expect stuff to happen overnight, you'll become disheartened and you'll start thinking, waste of time, this person or that person on Instagram's achieving this and I'm still doing nothing. Play the slow game, keep doing stuff, keep trying, keep putting stuff in place, keep practicing these good habits, fitness habits, health habits, reading, whatever it is, working harder at work, being more positive at work, volunteering for stuff. Public speaking is a good thing to get good at if you're not very good at that. I used to hate standing up in front of people. It used to literally make me terrified. Now I'm quite happy to stand up in front of a group of 30, 40, 50 people and explain what it is that I do. But that took practice to do that. That took me getting out of my comfort zone and throwing myself into it. And now still get nerves a little bit to a certain extent, but I'll get up and do it. Before, when I first started doing it, I was literally like, no, please, I need to leave. And there have been times I just disappeared, run away, because it was just too terrifying, you know? So people are really scared of that kind of thing. Get uncomfortable, push yourself out of your comfort zone. Don't just sit down and just relax and take it easy because it's easy. Still have fun. Don't put so much pressure on yourself. Still have fun, still socialise, still go out with your friends, but just get into the habit of practicing good habits, and it will build up over time, it will accumulate, and it will make such a difference to you down the line. Even if it's a year or a few years down the line, it will make a huge difference and you won't regret doing it. But the main message of this video is don't panic about leaving school. I'm sure you have loads of pressure on you from your parents, from teachers, from society in general, but you have to just be your own person and you have to just play the slow game and do what you feel is best for you. Take advice to a certain extent from different people, but just be careful what advice you take. It's hard. You will make mistakes, but just be prepared to bounce back from them. If you make a mistake, don't beat yourself up about it, become depressed, pick yourself back up, learn from it. What was it you did? How can you improve and do better next time? I hope that's useful. I could have done with this kind of advice when I was coming out of school, so thanks very much.